our passion is education, and we think with a lot of the developments in tech recently, there's a lot of ways that we can speed up education, maybe disrupt it or improve it. So that's our goal. And what I'm going to show today is a product we've been working on. We've kicked around. We did a few manual skill trees over the last year, prints we ran. And our goal was always to see how we can AI generate these skill trees. And so about a month ago, we actually dove in on building a product that can do that. And that's what I'm going to demo today. I'll say as I begin the demo, we are early stage, but this is a demo, but it's also like as we go, feel free to give any feedback, ask any questions. It'll be a pretty quick, maybe 10-minute demo, and I'll open up for questions at the end, but happy to answer as we go because it's still early stage. So they're not quite polished yet. So there's going to be a lot of things that aren't great, and feel free to call it out because that's what we're really looking for and to iterate on this thing as we build it. Let me share my screen. So here's one that I kicked around earlier, and I'll build this one from scratch, but just to show you what the end state really looks like. Here's a quote tree of nodes that each represents a skill. This one is around security. We have an app that we vibe coded, and we're wondering what are the steps we should take as a checklist for cyber security, make sure that it's actually production ready. And our idea is if you've ever played a game like Skyrim or any other RPG, something like sword fighting, something like magic is broken up into these skill trees. You have different levels and it forks. You learn to cast a spell, then you learn defense versus offense spells. It seems like most knowledge maps nicely to this. So our end goal is given anything you want to learn, can we generate a tree that can help you walk through the learning process? And ideally with using data science techniques, we can even learn a bit about you and generate really custom learning paths. So just to show you the end state, I'll show you how to start from scratch here. Start with we're calling it a canvas, and you end up with just a blank screen. There's two things you can do on here. You can just start right away if you already know what you want. You can click to open up node creation, or you can start with just a chat window, just an AI chat, like I think everyone's familiar with nowadays. And I can say, I've recently vibe coded an app, and I'm curious what steps I should take / what skills I need to make sure the app is secure and production ready. Can you give me a list of these skills? Nice. And so we get a decent list here. Looks like probably 10 skills. And then ideally we'd be able to just click them. But for now, what we can do is we can go into this node creation mode. And I can say, I can really just copy it, but if I want more context, I could say, just to make sure it's really right, I could say vibe coding, understanding of common vulnerabilities, and then I'll maybe generate a couple here. Pure coding practices. Yes, I can. Is it just this, or do you also need me to zoom in? I can make the text bigger as well if you want. Nice. All right. Let me know if that's good. And then just to show you one of these, so I'm going to generate another node here for this. But while I do that, show you what this looks like. So the page is like a Wikipedia page, a little, not quite. So we're pretty good at finding a good YouTube video to give a quick overview of the topic, really good at the resources, pretty good at finding, and then even the one pager, I think the formatting can be better, but it's generally given a pretty good overview of vibe coding, and then even the vulnerabilities, rate limiting, missing access control, input validation, hard-coded secrets. That's a big one. Dependency management, lack of testing. So let's see what it does if I add a second one here. Your coding practices. There we go. Take a look at that one. Imagine you're building a house. You would want to leave the doors unlocked. Input validation, authentication and password management, configuration. We get resources. So then you can walk through and do this for each and limited to just a linear direction. Protection. I'm just going to go through and add a few. And then maybe I'll just do one more. Logging, do that over here. And you can see right now I'm kind of picking but in theory, as this gets more mature, I should be able to say, generate this, and it will pick the topology for me and allow me to fork as I go. And then for each one, right now we have what's coming this week is actually submission. So you can ask, it'll say, now you've read over this, you've watched the video, can you, I don't know, describe in your own words in a sentence this topic or answer a handful of questions and allow you to progress. And then even once you have a tree like this, we can do that for all nodes and give you a quick quiz to test your knowledge of the nodes. Let me just make sure. All these resources should be pretty good. I think we have worked through, there should be no hallucinated resources. So while I'm here, is anyone have any questions or feedback or anything on what we've seen so far?
Hello. Hey everyone, I have a quick question, and maybe I missed it in the beginning when I was still studying out the systems. I think in your email you stated that this would be a platform for project-based learning.
Yeah.
And so how would this be an interface that the students are using or the teachers are using, and how would this fit with a PBL?
So I think it's more at least early geared towards the student. So you can see, and we have done some of that before, not with the AI generated, but if you go, like this is what we're working on now. But before that, we ran 2-week sprints with a bunch of students, and that's kind of where the idea for the trees came from and how we refined how they're broken down. So we have a bunch that we've done before, coding a voice agent, working with cursor, building chat assistants, and these more mature trees that we've actually used previously are very similar. They're still a skill tree, but you could see here's a developed one where we take someone from 0 to building an agent, and the student in this case would go through here. They start with 11 labs. They learn cursor, Git, Heroku. They build their first agent, then they learn a little more complex topics, build a second agent, and then they have a final demo. That's really what this is. So I think that's really what this is geared towards in the early stage, is something like this, learning security. Along the way on these, I can click into 11 Labs here, and they have a project submission for each one you submit. And that's something that we'll have here as well. Right now, we can generate a page very similar to this. And then the next step is allow them to submit. In this case, for monitor and logging, submit code, show how you would log or catch all errors and log to a Slack channel or something like that could be for this. And as they go through, I don't know, these 6 nodes, they would do that for each. And then there'd be, almost think like if it's a video game, there's a boss. The boss would be a mature demo that combines all 6 things into one. And then once they complete that, they would we generate the next level to level them up. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Nice. Anything else? I'll stick around, so feel free if there's any questions or anything, any feedback anyone wants to give or anything, I'll stick around for a bit longer. But I think that's the demo for today. So thank you everyone for coming, and definitely let me know if you have any questions.
A question. When you have the representation with the notes and the links, can you zoom in each of them, or is just
In this one or the other one?
no? For example, in the one that you are trying and demoing now.
This one. When you say zoom in, what do you mean?
No, zooming in on the particular node, or in order to connect to, for example, with the pager or illustrating how the concepts are connected.
I see. I think right now they're more one-off. So each concept, they're related in the high level that maybe they're all security, but in this one, authentication, this is just going to be purely about authentication, and it can maybe relates to security in the fact that it is a security concept, but they don't feed forward at the moment. All right. If there's nothing else, I think I could give people their time back. So just feel free to let me know if there's anything else right now. Otherwise, again, thank you all for coming, and thanks for checking out our demo.
Thank you.